Hello, I'm Diane. Welcome to my channel, Diane in Stitches, where I'll be talking all about my sewing adventures, my sewing life, what I've made, what I'm going to make, and hopefully pass on some useful hints and tips along the way. So I do hope you enjoy watching the content. So as you know, this is my first video for 3 weeks since I put my last video out, just before we went on holiday, which we've had 2 weeks in Cyprus. We have been back a week now, but I've just been busy this week doing washing and bits and bobs. I've still got loads of ironing to do, but I have actually made some items this week as well that I needed to make up. But first I'll say what I'm wearing. This is the Pattern Emporium Bound to Be tee. This is the second one I made. I've got a turquoise one, which I think you might have seen on my Instagram Me Made May posts, possibly. I think I only wore it briefly one day, because there was that much repeats with having the holiday wardrobe. You can't obviously take every different item, so there were a lot of repeats and one item with another bottom or top with a mixing matching with the holiday. I had to stop this tracking again. Using my new gimbal thing, and I've got to remember not to hold my hands up. Yeah, so I've got the turquoise one on holiday. This is the second one I made. I've had some bit of a problem with it. This neck band is a band, a binding rather than a neck band, and you sew it on right sides together, and then you have to flip the raw edge under, and it is sort of raw, and then you have to pull it tight so that it gets tight around the neck of the body. And then you cut and have cover stitch or stitch it down, whichever way you do it, if you haven't got a cover stitch machine. But for some reason I thought I'd pulled it tightly enough, but it's just a little bit wrinkly here. It hadn't. The turquoise one is worse, so this one, I can't really see it on this one, I don't think, very easily with it being black, but it's just a little bit wrinkly where I haven't pulled it tight. But it's just a shape, slightly shaped t-shirt, short sleeves, and I did do the lengthening where I usually, what I discovered with previous t-shirts is that I need to add in the armhole, add a sort of a cross here, which lowers the bust point and also adds room so that it's not right under my armpit. So I just went straight in with these and did that without testing it in any way, but it does fit quite nicely, although I'm not sure whether I might need a bit of a broad shoulder adjustment here. I don't know. Anyway, so yes, we had a good holiday. The apartment was very, very basic and not very well equipped, to be honest. The kitchen was a joke. It was so tiny. Very little equipment. I'll put a picture up of the chopping board that we had to contend with. I didn't take any. I was going to go around when we'd packed up before I came home and do a video, but I completely. I wasn't feeling well. I'd had a bit of a funny tummy the day before, and we'd had to rush out to the pharmacy on the Saturday morning that we were due to be picked up at 11 o'clock to go back to the airport and get some anti-diarrhea tablets. It had actually subsided by then, but he said, no, take them just in case, because it will come back, and it didn't. And so, anyway, so I was in a bit of a tiz on the Saturday, so I didn't take any picture. But there's a picture of this chopping board that was literally a foot. I don't think it was even a foot long. It was just ridiculous. But we managed, and the cooker was sort of like an all-in-one. Bit bigger than a microwave, with a pull-down door for the oven, because you could have sort of put a pizza in there, I suppose. But then two of if you remember, it depends how old you are. If you remember those horrible ceramic rings are they ceramic? I don't know. They were really black, dark grey electric rings on cookers back in the day. And we tried to cook some pork chops one night, and it was taking ages to warm up. Anyway, we did eat out quite a bit in the end. We just made salads, and again that was a bit difficult with this little chopping board, but anyway. So yeah, I was going to go through. I mean, when I was posting on Instagram, I couldn't remember the pattern details of the things I was wearing. So obviously, as I say, it was like mix and match, changing the top with a different bottom. But I did take one pair of shorts that I didn't wear because they were shorts that I'd made when we lived there, from a sort of a linen. Well, I don't know what they were. I don't know what fabric it was really. From the shop in Limassol, with I think it must have been like a viscose linen mix or something, or a polyester mix. I don't know. But I just bought my overlocker from Lidl in Cyprus, and having made a stretch, got some stretch fabric, made a vest. Well, sort of an A-line swing like vest tunic thing. Which I think was polyester. Still got it, but hardly wore it. And I just had rookie error. I assumed that I could sew woven fabrics on the overlocker as well, and it worked. I'd worn it. I'd worn these shorts a few times, but I did notice a while ago that the seam was. I could see the overlocking stitches, and I'd used grey because at the time I didn't. I'd got one reel of red. Which I'd read that if you just use on the left needle the colour, you can use any colour on the loopers and the right needle, as long as your needle that forms the seam has the colour of the fabric. So I bought one reel of red, but you could actually see the grey stitching, and I've been meaning to sew that seam, reinforce it on the sewing machine. Completely forgot. I got these shorts out and I thought, I can't go out in those. Anyway, I've done it now since I've been back. I've managed to, I threaded up the sewing machine and got that sorted a few days ago. I thought I'll just get this out of the way and then they're ready to wear again now. But now, obviously, I know that you can't construct a woven. Usually, I suppose where there's more strain on the seam, you would really not do it. But I suppose if it was just a shirt, it could work. But even when I've done Keith's shirts, I've done a sewing machine and overlocked just to neaten the edges. So that's the way I go now anyway. So I didn't get to wear those shorts. There wasn't a lot that I didn't wear actually. There was a dress I took that I didn't wear because it was polyester. And it was just hot, and I thought I know I'm going to roast in that. So even though it was sleeveless, so I didn't wear that. I didn't wear my jeans, but I wore most things. But it's come to a situation where I thought I could do with more woven items. I did actually enjoy wearing like the Donny shirts, which were nice and cool and breezy, rather than a t-shirt which sort of clings to you. So I'm in mind now. I'm going to look. I've got quite a few woven fabrics. So I'm going to make up some blouses or shirts rather than t-shirts, although I have got some t-shirt fabric as well. So anyway, and I also discovered that I can wear white next to my skin, next to my face. I've had ages and ages ago, I had a colour analysis done. Don't know if it was anything like what the current ones are, but it came to conclusion that I shouldn't wear white next to my face. But anyway, before we went away, I bought a white t-shirt, and I don't think it looked too bad. So maybe my skin tone's changed slightly, so now it can. And my hair's certainly different to what it was when I was, I don't know how old I was when I had it must be 30 years ago. So I'm going to investigate more white and make shirts or a blouse or a cover-up thing with a vest underneath, a t-shirt, sleeveless t-shirt underneath. So we'll see. So the patterns that I made that I obviously couldn't remember what they were. The shorts that had the vintage red denim shorts were Butterick 5649. So that's that one. and I quite like those. They were really good fit, and they were really comfortable. And the outfit that I preferred out of the whole thing, because I made a blouse last year, and I'd worn them with my jeans, which are a slight low rise, and every time I bent over I got gaps in my back. And this shirt was I thought I need to lengthen that shirt, but in actual fact with this, I'll put the picture up of the outfit. It's the blouse pattern was one I picked up from a lady who was destashing a load of patterns when we lived over in Lincolnshire, and it's a very old one, 9012, and I made this one. Now I'm long-waisted, so it did come up pretty short on me. So obviously with an illustration rather than an actual photograph, you can't. It doesn't give you the true impression of how it's going to look. So it does look longer on this model. She's probably got really long legs and short. Anyway, so I didn't think to lengthen it, but now I know I would need to lengthen that body for me. But I thought it actually looked quite nice with the red, that shirt that I made, which I haven't got time. It's in the ready. It's stop it. It's in the wash, ready to sorry, on the ironing pile now. So I'm going to make that blouse again. I've got loads of, as I say, I've got loads of woven fabrics. I'm going to make up some woven items. And the other things that I wore were the blue and white striped cropped trousers, and then the darker blue with a slight pinstripe shorts, which was similar to these red ones that I needed to reinforce the seam. So the cropped trousers were these here with a little slit at the side. I'd bought this pattern originally to make this skirt, and I'd bought the fabric and the pattern from a shop in Sheffield, which was when it was still called Cole Brothers, and then they changed to John Lewis. They were part of the John Lewis partnership anyway, but they then rebranded as just John Lewis. And now they've shut since COVID. They closed and then they haven't reopened since then. So it was fantastic. Well, you'll know what John Lewis's are like. It was a brilliant shop. So anyway, I made the crop trousers, and then the red and these blue stripy shorts. So I just wore the shorts and one pair of the shorts and these trousers, crop trousers. So I've not made the long ones yet, but they're just basically a fold. You fold the top over and thread elastic through. It's quite simple and very comfortable to wear. And the other thing I made was some some pyjamas. And the pyjamas, one of the pyjamas bottoms was the Haller Patterns sleep shorts, and the other one was I altered this McCall's pattern. I've made winter pyjamas with the long legs. There's also a 3/4 leg, but I just made shorts, and I just cut the pattern up to make shorts. So they're quite comfy. And the tops that I'd used with those pyjamas the ones I took on holiday are the Ellie & Mac Everyday Tee, which I've altered to make this. It's a really curved hem, and I made a black t-shirt actually, the first t-shirt I made, and it was really long, and this curve was really pronounced, and so I've cut it off, and the subsequent ones that I've made, I've also just made it straight, and I did make it straight bottoms with the pyjama tops. But since I've come back, I've decided I needed some more summer pyjamas. So I've gone with the Haller Patterns sleep shorts again, and I've made these this week. That's the bottoms. And this is a bamboo lycra from Pound Fabrics, which I bought quite a few months, towards the end of last year. And then I've also made I decided to try a different top with this one, which I've done the Pattern Emporium Besties Tee, which has got all sorts of variants. It's more like, it's like a sort of a swing, like a slightly A-line, or you can put a band across, gather a band across the bottom. You can make it slightly shorter or slightly longer. There's cropped, normal length, and a slightly long, different lengths. Multitude of necklines, from high crew neck to mid crew neck, low crew neck, V-neck, and 2 square necks, and then sleeveless, 2 different sleeveless, flounce, cap sleeve, short sleeve, 3/4, and long. So you could make all sorts of combinations from that pattern. So I've gone with the mid scoop neck and the short sleeves, and I just made this. This is just a straight size 12. The fabric's not quite summery, it's called Fall Leaves. So it's just all sort of different colours, but it has got a bit of, it actually doesn't seem like it's going to go, but it looked better on the website when I was picking them. There is a little bit of green in there, but I maybe should have picked another colour for the bottoms, but never mind. But it's as I say, they're both bamboo lycra. I think the plain was £10 a metre, and the pattern was £9.95, or the other way around, from Pound Fabrics. So I just made a straight size 12, and it fits quite nicely, and I'm quite happy with that. So I think I'm okay now for pyjamas. For some, I think I've got 4 pairs now. So, as I've mentioned, I'm going to try to get a few more woven items made. Although I've got quite a few woven fabrics and a few t-shirt lycra fabrics as well. So with that in mind, I was looking on Instagram the other day, and a couple of shops came up. There was Sew Me Sunshine was highlighting some nice new cottons that they've had in, and First for Fabrics mentioned that they'd got some viscose slub on a sale special offer. And I thought, shall I, shan't I? And I'm afraid I did cave, and I ordered some fabric. Bearing in mind, I've been, since the beginning of this year, I've not ordered anything since December 2024, and I have made. This is the 12. Although there's two items here, I'm counting that as one garment. I've made 12, so I've used up 12, well that's 13 fabrics from my stash. So I thought, well, I'll just give myself a little break. I've not ordered from First for Fabrics before. Now it just came this morning, so I'm going to unwrap it. I have torn the packet. I have ripped the packet open. So this viscose, and I was watching another video this morning, another YouTube video this morning, So Lulu Rask, I think I've got that right, and she'd ordered some as well, in different colours. Now by the time I looked, there weren't many colours of the colours left, but they'd got some of the white and some cream, lots of cream left. So I thought, I'll give the white a go. So here we are opening. So we've got lovely ribbon round it. I said this is my first order. So many thanks for your order, Diane. Happy sewing, Kaylee. So this feels lovely. I think the lady's name, I think it's So Lulu Rath. I think the lady's name is Vanessa. Anyway, Apologies, I will check and I'll put the link below. So this is the cream. It's just sort of a, I don't know if you can see it properly in this light. Difficult to pick up, but there's like a slub weave to it. There we go. They did say that the lighter colours may be a little bit more see-through, so I'm not sure. I was thinking of blouses or shirts. But there may be, I may be able to just put something underneath it. So that's the cream. And then a nice white. Let me see if I have to open that out. So can you see through that a little bit? Probably. I'll have to have a look at that, but they do feel lovely. So it's a viscose slub weave. So I ordered I think it was 1.5 meters of each. It's sort of enough for a shirt or a blouse or some sort of a top. So I don't know. Can you see? I don't think it looks. I don't think it drains me so much. And then Sew Me Sunshine. Now I have ordered from Sew Me Sunshine before. I ordered some French terry. I made some sweatshirt type things and a cardigan. I made a cardigan for Keith. So there's a sticker on there. It says, "Thank you for choosing us for your sewing project. We did a little happy dance when you placed your order." So that's Sew Me Sunshine. It's supposed to, well, it's just got fabric information there, but it doesn't actually say anything. But I was going on the fact that a while ago I was fancying a fabric with lemons on it. I don't even know why. We did have a lemon tree when we lived in Cyprus, and we did get the lemons off it, and they were going in the gin and tonics, and I made some limoncello. When I went to Harrogate last year I think it was, when we went for my birthday, and when I bought Keith's fabrics for his 2 shirts with the tropical designs on, I bought a fabric for a shirt for me with lemon. There was navy background and it's got lemons on it. It was a nice fabric. It's just, I think it was a Rose and Hubble cotton poplin. But when Sew Me Sunshine were showing their fabrics on Instagram, the new fabrics, and I thought, because I quite liked, I don't know what had made me get the idea with the Donny shirt that I made in the silk noir from Sherwood's Fabrics. I've just got this, I just liked that design, like sort of Mediterranean scenes, and that was called Life in Venice. And they got this one on Sew Me Sunshine, and it's got lemons on it, and I'll just find I'll open it out. This is called Costa d'Amalfi. So we've got the lemons, and then we've got a sunshines and villas and hills and trees. And I just thought that was nice, and I thought, yeah, quite like that. So I went for like it's just sort of a nice, bright, cheery fabric. So I'm not sure what that will be. So I've only brought 3 fabrics in, and I've managed to de-stash 12. Use up 12 for this year's items that I've made. So I just thought I'd have a little treat, and I do like that. I think that's absolutely beautiful. It's got all sorts of different flowers on it, and the lemons. So that might be another Donny. I don't know. We'll see. I've got red cheeks. Keith brought a cup of coffee up a while ago. I've gone a bit flushed with the coffee. Anyway, so yeah, that's my little fabric haul. I'm quite pleased with that. But I'm going to not go mad. I'm going to still be, sort of going through what I've got. But I'm just sort of I must go through my patterns and see what I can decide to make on that one. So I think that's about all I've got this week now. Obviously it's been a bit of a bumper. What I'll do, I'll put a little bit of footage. I did take some footage. I didn't quite get used to this gimbal thing, and I did take it out on a few occasions. But we didn't go out. It was too hot to sort of walk, and obviously you don't want to go out midday. We did a little bit of walking, but we went. We did a bit of a tour around. But the other things we did was there was a classic car show down at the Paphos Harbour, and I'll just put a few little images at the end of one or two bits and bobs that we did. So I'll just finish there then now for this week. And thank you again for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the content. I felt as if I've rambled a little bit today. I don't know why. I'm just sort of a little bit up in the air with things at the moment. So thank you again for watching. Thank you for all your previous comments that if you've watched before. Thank you again. I've had a few more subscribers, so thank you if you have subscribed. If you haven't yet subscribed, please consider doing so. It doesn't cost anything, and if you click the little bell icon, you'll get notified when I do release a new video. And I love to read your comments. I'll try and answer all of them if I can. But some of the notifications sometimes haven't been coming through, so I hope I haven't missed anybody's comments. But anyway, with that, so I'll say thank you again for watching. Hope you've had a good week. Have a lovely weekend, and hope you get lots of sewing done. And I will see you in the next video. So bye for now.